Beginning cash balance was $5.6 million. Revenue was $2.4 million. Expenditures were $2 million. And bringing the ending cash balance to $6 million. Moving on to the commission revenue and expenditures. Revenue for the month of November was $1.7 million. Personnel expenditures were $446,000. Operating expenditures were $96,000, bringing total expenditures for the month to $542,000. Looking at the resource testing, revenues and expenditures for the month. Resource development transfers began, and that was $719,000. Personnel expenditures were $362,000. Operating expenditures were $1,055,000. Bringing the total expenditures for the month to $1.4 million. Promotion only had an advertising expenditure of $5,000 for the month. Looking at the comparative revenue and expenditures, looking at December 31st, 2023 to December 31st, 2022, there was a 36% decrease in revenue, mostly generated because of the resource development trust fund transfer starting late because of the fiscal code, not passing until November. Personnel expenditures were up 6%, and that's because of the new union contract. Operating expenditures are down 30%. Again, the largest portion of that is the administrative admin billing allocation, which we hold off on doing because of the fiscal code. That should be processing here the end of January or the beginning of February. So we're in the process of doing those right now, making the total expenditures down 14% for the year. And the rest of the financial statements have to do with the restricted funds.
Tracy, I don't remember, last month, did we explain to the public how we were getting those additional transfers that we had not gotten in the past for testing? In other words, that we were not getting them retroactively.
Yeah, that's the first time that we did not get retroactive payments, but that was apparently part of the fiscal code deal.
Right.
So we are getting them in equal payments from December through June 30th. But like again, and that's unusually we didn't get retroactive, but when we looked at it cash flow wise, we'll be okay with that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Tracy? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we'll turn to Jeff Matty and the PTHA marketing report. You have copies of your slide deck.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, this is Jeff Matty, Executive Director of the PTHA. Jeff, last name Matty, M-A-T-T-Y. With me today is Chris Griffin. Chris Griffin is the PTHA Marketing Coordinator. He's also the co-producer of Let's Go Racing with Bruce Casella, along with a social media advisor. First and foremost, we'd like to thank you for your time, allowing us to present today. We appreciate all that the Commission does, both past, current, and future, for the horsemen and parks. So we'll get underway. Slide one, just a little bit about what we're working on. Last year we sat before you and told you that we're doing a full-fledged. Page one, please. Perfect. And next slide, please. Last year we sat before you and told you we were going to go full-fledged to redo our Let's Go Racing Parks mobile app. We did many studies before venturing down this path. It was apparent that our customer viewed a couple of key insights. One, they gravitated toward Dick Girardi's articles. In terms of our PTHA website, they gravitate toward Craig Allen's picks. He gives picks 3 days a week, Monday through Wednesday, obviously every day we race. And those two gentlemen generate a lot of traffic. So we took that and we based our website around it. So instead of, we basically took our car model and we brought it down to the bare bones. And we said, let's make it a website that's efficient, that's easy for our horsemen to go to, easy for them to understand, and then the customer as well. Because when our horsemen go on Let's Go Racing, they want to see their interviews, they want to see the most recent updates, they do not need all the bells and whistles, and we found out based on our customer characteristics, they too want to just grab and go. So we made our new website, we'll continue to do that moving into 2024 and well beyond. Next slide, please. College Scholarship Day. The PTHA in partnership with Parks last year in 2022, we launched our College Scholarship Day with Delaware Valley University. It was a pretty good success, I would say. We had about 25 students in 2022. Fast forward to this past October, 2023, myself, Joe Wilson, the Parks, and the PTHA, obviously, very proud to announce that we had almost 75 students. These students ranged all across the equine program at Del Val. Corey Kijnik, the department chair, has been a great partner with us. We look to build on this day moving forward. We give out 5 scholarships, totaling $5,000. 2022, got a little creative on the amounts, 500 there, 1,000 here, and then we had a grand one of 2,000. This year we just did 5 college scholarships for $1,000 each. The students were very receptive. Not only was that a great day, I think that the thing we can be most proud about with that day is that we've had 6 students since that day have come out and shadowed men and women at Parks. So whether it's vets, blacksmiths, trainers, jockey agents, I think that's what we can be most proud of, because you can have a day like this and you can say it was successful, but the fact that the students are coming back and want to make potentially a career move into thoroughbred racing, I think that's why we're all here, and that's what we need desperately. So we are very proud of this day. We look to add on to this day. There's, we could potentially raise our scholarships moving forward. But again, this was a great success, and I just want to thank Parks. Together, we're very proud of this, and we look to keep this going for many years. Next slide, please. Dick Girardi. Dick Girardi obviously gives a weekly report, weekly newsletter, and story to our PTHA website and to our Let's Go Racing site. Dick is a Hall of Fame sports writer. He really resonates with a lot of our horsemen. You have the veteran that's been around for 50 years that knows Dick Girardi's name. You have the college basketball fan that knows Dick Girardi and respects his picks and all of that. So to kind of create that conversion from sports fan to racing fan, obviously it's one of racing's biggest tasks, and we're taking it full on, and we understand that Dick not only brings the important current fan of racing, but the overall sports fan. So if we can get them in the door, get them to buy into what Let's Go Racing is doing, get them to buy into what Parks is doing in the PTHA, we want to just get more and more eyeballs to the sport. Whether you get them there by a great horse, a once-in-a-lifetime horse like Stormy Jones, whether you get them there like a feel-good story of Cody's Wish, or if you get them there like someone like Dick Girardi in the local Philadelphia market who gives out picks and just gets people interested in coming out to the track. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Chris Griffin. Just want to say that Chris has joined us in the last 6 months or so, and the PTHA is very lucky to have him and his skill set working for the horsemen.
Hello, everybody. Just so I okay. Chris Griffin, Griffin, or CHRS. This is my first one of these, so I apologize ahead of time. But Jockey Cam is going to be the next slide. My background is I have announced races. Obviously, I'm currently announcing races across many regions on the East Coast. But we've got Jockey Cam. We'll pull up this slide in just a second. But this is going to be an example or video of how Jockey Cam was enabled this year in the 2023 Parksburg Mile. In the yellow blinkers, you're going to see that's Minutes Class and Gun Night. These are 2 very high-profile horses that you're going to see run in the same exact race. And we have this side by side because we were able to, with the approval of the commission, and get the cameras on the jockeys and be able to do this during the live horse race that happens to be a big stakes race on your biggest day of racing in Pennsylvania with a little bit of wet weather was a fantastic task to be able to accomplish that. So you are going to see Minutes Class up on the right. Obviously, Gun Night you can see is the 5 horse to the left. The reason why I'm pointing out certain things like this is because the the person that watches racing can understand what we are seeing on the screen right here. This is somebody that can understand that the horse on the outside, the PA bred, is going to run by the very, very short price favorite in Gun Ike on the inside, and then it's going to win the Park Third Mile. For the new customer, though, the new fan base, the new fan that has never seen a horse race before, this is something that we can show them time and time again, and show them examples of what is really happening on the racetrack. I think that that's what the biggest thing that Jockey Cam and what their partnership and what they brought to the table. The next slide, please, just to show Jockey Cam and some of the graphics that they put together, and they really are a high-end. You see them working with a lot of different racetracks. And Jeff talked to me about this idea, and we were going with the team back and forth on it. And I just think it gives you that real feel of being in a race, and we can have some options. We have that footage now forever. You can go on our Let's Go Racing show. It's something that we can take with us to do presentations, to bring in more fans, to bring them more custom, and also get jockeys to be involved in the conversation as well, because jockeys can tell us how to ride a horse and ride in that race. So that partnership took place in 2023 for PA Derby Day, and we also have multiple camera angles and shots that are, I shouldn't say angles, but different horses that had Jockey Cam aboard. These are only two. I put these two in there because they ran in the same race together. We've got Notice of Action, Eva's Magic, and among many other Pennsylvania breds that do very well as 2-year-olds as well with Jockey Cam. So the next one is kind of, I guess Jeff and I can kind of go back and forth, but this is reaching out to the Philadelphia sports market. So we had some PA Derby Championship ambassadors. Keith Jones, when I came here from California and moved to Pennsylvania and got to the Philly area, there are about 5 Keith Jones in the area. Because you just see the Hall of Fame announcer Keith Jones, and then there's newscaster Keith Jones, and now general manager of the Flyers, Keith Jones. And so they were our PA Derby Championship ambassadors. These are familiar faces, celebrities, if you will, that joined us on our biggest day. We got some assist with the graphics as well, shout out there. But to bring these people that are very familiar with this sports fan base, and when Jeff and I have spoken, and when I came in once announcing at Parks and now working with the PTHA in coordination with Parks, Philadelphia, the sports region and the sports atmosphere is like no other. To be able to capture the people that are on the peripheral and now bring them into racing and help them enjoy that experience from a customer is fantastic. For the fans that were able to come, these are people that they familiarize in the Philadelphia region, and that just helps us boost what is our biggest day at Parks. This is something that I think we need to continue on in 2024. We can continue to reach out to folks. And I think the other thing we realize is there's a lot of people out there that really enjoy horse racing, and they enjoy being a part of it, or they've seen a race. So to be able to bring these folks out and for them to actually say, you know, I've seen a race before, I've experienced this race, or I remember that horse, that's just going to help us build that fan base and also just grow the product.
And just to add to that, we have full plans to bring in ambassadors again this year with the help of Joe Wilson and Rich Romano from Parks. We're working on that now. I know we're a little far out, but can't start too early. So I think incorporating this is basically taking those big Jordy articles that I spoke about earlier, just getting the general sports fan on board to what we're doing from a social media aspect and a website aspect. To now you get something like this where you can put on billboards, you can tweet out. It's great that the PTHA and Let's Go Racing tweet out, hey, Pennsylvania Derby Day, Saturday, September 21st. Well, when you get Keith Jones and Seth Joyner, and we had Kane Callis, the son of former Hall of Fame Phillies announcer Harry Callis, he did our national anthem. So it's things like that to get those retweets, to get those eyes, get on their platform. We're very proud of our partnership with NBC Sports Philadelphia. We'll get into that on the next slide. But again, just getting the people, the big time people involved in the Philadelphia market is key.
Yeah, so the relationship with NBC Sports Philadelphia. So obviously, if you bring these folks out to the track and you have our championship ambassadors on site, it's very helpful to have them on camera and to be able to share that with the region. And you'll see a coverage map a little bit later on. But this is for our PA Derby broadcast at NBC Sports Philadelphia. When you see the peacock, when you see this brand, it's a very familiar brand in the city of Philadelphia and in the region of Pennsylvania as well. To bring in the top tier talent and faces that you're familiar with. You can see with Kai III is there with Nick Girardi. That's a way to bring in somebody from the outside that may host on some national broadcasts coming in for our biggest day and host with our local host in Dick Girardi on Let's Go Racing. Maggie Wolfendale is interviewing Executive Director Jeff Maddie in that interview right there on that slide as well, so that's always good to see because he can speak about what the PTHA is doing, what is Parks doing, what do we do that works in concert with what we do with the broadcast overall. So it's not just you watching the race and say, oh, it's a horse race and there's some folks from Philly that we recognize, but also we hope that we're able to get some of our messaging across to understand what the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horseman Association is and what we do here on a daily basis and not just on our biggest day. So this partnership and this coordination has been, I just think that we're on the kind of just kind of scratching the surface. Now we were with NBC Sports Philadelphia before, so it's really nice to be back with them and to have them on our biggest day and see some big names like that, Maggie Wolf and Dale Big Guy joining us on the broadcast, which has only helped us. Great team, the Parks TV team, everybody working together and collaborating as one unit to put on our big day. To me, that's what it's all about. And that was a live broadcast too. It was not a recorded broadcast. It's live. It's happening right then and there. So it was nice to have that as well. Next slide. Yeah, so social media is obviously a big thing in all of sports and in horse racing as well. Danny Gibson has been doing social media now for, we should have asked her how many years, but it's for many years here with the PTHA and working with Parks. Something that I could bring in as far as the contribution, like we just put that lower third there, picks of the day. It just kind of enhances the experience from a social media standpoint, so we know visually what we're looking at. We may not know what she's saying overall if you just scroll. All of us have phones. When you scroll through a video, you just pass right on it. I mean, sometimes every video looks exactly the same. We just wanted to stand out a little bit. So what we do at the PTHA and do across our social media channels, whether it be Twitter X, whether it be the YouTube channel, which Let's Go Racing is broadcast on Let's Go Racing Parks, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, which is a platform that we are slowly getting into and I have some experience with. So more TikToks will be coming as far as the fan engagement that way. This hits a different fan base, right? I think that we are able to communicate with our horsemen at PTHA and then also have a fun side of it as well, because we want to make sure that people are enjoying themselves and they can at least take something with you. If you're going to join us for that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of racing, we're hoping that you leave with at least something that you either learned or experienced from our end.
Next slide, please. So down the stretch, this partnership has been going on for a few years now. Obviously, Hall of Fame announcer Dave Johnson and Bill Finley, they put on this Sirius XM radio station. We're very proud of the people that we have representing not only the PTHA but Parks. You'll see two PTHA members up there and Jessica McQuett, the announcer for Parks Racing. The way we look at this is, yes, Dick Girardi and Danny Gibson both represent the PTHA, but going, again, not to repeat myself, but going back to earlier slides, the way I look at that is Danny Gibson's representing the PTHA, Jessica's representing Parks, and Dick Girardi is representing the fan, whether it be Philadelphia or across the country. So, yes, there's two organizations represented, but in my opinion, there's two organizations represented, and then that third one being Dick Girardi, who just casts a huge net amongst, again, current fans of racing, potential fans of racing, and the history of racing. He does a tremendous job storytelling. He does a tremendous job reliving the past and just giving great insights, especially when it comes to Derby Trail and those high-level events that really capture the fans and what bring fans to racing. Dick Girardi is second to none. So we do 16 weeks. We used to be on for more, but we wanted to target that. The 16 weeks are going to really focus around the Triple Crown, around Pennsylvania Day races, around the Pennsylvania Derby. Again, we just want to not give them as much, give them more of a channeled, narrow approach. So when down the stretch and all of those media channels, when they retweet, when they broadcast it out, it's, hey, I haven't been listening to this for the last 51 weeks. This is the season. This is the Triple Crown season. This is Pennsylvania Derby season. There's a heightened excitement, and we want to give that to them in a proper way. So we're very proud of this partnership. It's been going on for a few years now. We have every intention to continue it. And like I said before, the only change that was made is that we cut back on the weeks for a more channeled focus moving forward. Next slide, please. Stable Duel. Again, last year we presented this partnership with Stable Duel. Very proud of it. Bree Mott, who's one of the co-founders and manager of Stable Duel. Parks is on that platform regularly. It's essentially fantasy football but for horse racing. You can build a stable. You have $50,000 mythical dollars. You put your stable together, 10 horses. They can be a horse in every race. They can be a few horses in a race. If your horse wins, you get a significant amount of points for every length and more that horse wins by. So if it wins by open lengths, you get the winning share plus additional points. But in hindsight, not in hindsight, but contrary to that, if the horse loses, you lose points, and then based on how many lengths it gets beat. So again, it's just bringing that younger generation, younger demographic involved. It also keeps them engaged for the entire card. So they might have a winner, first, second race. Their stable might be heating up, and then they'll really be honed in on the last few races of the day. So it just keeps the average fan, the engaged fan, and the conversion to the fantasy football player. There's just a great partnership there. I believe Ashley Eisenbill and PTHA also joined that. And just going back to what we said in an earlier slide with the celebrities, Ashley Eisenbill and the PTHA have been a tremendous, co-organization with us. We really appreciate all the efforts they do. And again, Stable was just another innovative way as we continue to get traction for these younger generational type programs and products that we can propel the sport forward. Next slide, please.
Yeah, so Let's Go Racing has been on the air for 32 seasons, actually. So Let's Go Racing has been covering racing from Parks in Pennsylvania for quite some time. Bruce Casella and Danny Gibson, Dick Girardi have been very gracious in welcoming me aboard to co-produce and be a part of the programming. And I think that we have just got so many things. When we talk about 52 weeks of content and 52 Saturdays where we're going to be on the air, and we'll talk about who we're alongside and why that's important in my personal opinion. There is going to be a video that we're going to play that just kind of gives you a little bit of a highlight of where we have taken a little bit of the traditional and the way that we have done things and the way that we're also progressing and changing things up a little bit and being open to change and progressing with the times and new audiences. I want to check the volume and just give a little volume warning just to make sure everybody knows volume-wise. There is some music on this, so I don't want to blow your ears out. So if you are, I don't know how loud it is, so I'm just kind of prepping everyone in case that takes place. But if you're able to play that video, that'd be fantastic. Commission presentation. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And then if we're able to go just to the next slide, and then we'll talk about that briefly, but thank you for spending the time watching that. I guess the main thing and the main point to get across there is, so that was 1 minute of just something to get people excited and whatnot, right? That's taking some of the elements that we've already had and recorded and some of the newer elements that we have as well. This, being on NBC Sports Philadelphia, is a big draw for us in the market that we're in. We're able to go to the next slide. Sorry, just the next slide real quick. So NBC Sports Philadelphia in the Philadelphia region, it houses the Eagles, the Flyers, the Phillies, and the 76ers. That is the network that all four of those professional sports teams are on. In our 32nd season, going back to NBC Sports Philadelphia and that partnership and what we're doing on that channel, this is going to give us a wide variety of options to where we can go and also how we can connect with some of the popular sports brands in the area. I think the top 10, I would say, media market like this and a sports market is one of the best sports fan bases I've ever seen. My drive and my reason for jumping on board and wanting to join the PTHA is to make sure that we really knock this out of the park. I think this is something where we can bring what we do at parks and what we do at the PTHA to this broad level. We watch the channel all the time. Jeff Maddie can speak on that a little bit, but on the right, you'll also see a coverage map. That's showing you where the signal is going. So we're in Delaware, we're in New Jersey, we're in Pennsylvania, we're in that region. Harrisburg, that area would be that blue area right there. So at Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on NBC Sports Philadelphia, you can catch Let's Go Racing every single Saturday. And we also have the opportunity to get some re-air time. So that's nice as well, where we do find ourselves possibly behind an Eagles game or behind a Phillies game. That's a perfect spot to be. On a Sunday night after an Eagles game and then Let's Go Racing comes on, we can show our best foot forward in that setting. So that's a huge advantage for us and what we do. Sorry, I talk a lot, so I'm sorry for this time crunch here, but I'll let us go to the next.
Next slide, please. Here's a few of the things we want to do moving forward. Mike Baldini from Baldini Communications, he does a great job with KYW News Radio 1060. He puts the PTHA and parks racing in great spots, well-timed spots, executed spots for our big days such as PA races, Pennsylvania Derby Day, days throughout the year, Pennsylvania Nursery Day. It's just key that when you have horsemen come in and say, oh, their families heard us on the radio and stuff like that, that's how you know we're scratching the surface and there's a lot more there. I'm 32 years old, and when my friends say they hear, hey, I heard your association or your company on the radio, that's how we know we're doing something right, because we're going after that target market. So if they're coming to us saying, oh, we saw the PTHA thing, or oh, we heard you're out on the radio, you're racing Saturday, that's a good start. I'm not saying we're at the finish line, but we're well in stride and on our way. So we have a lot of work to do moving forward. But again, KYW News Radio is a great asset for that. Beach banners, this year we have full intention, Labor Day weekend, we're going to fly Pennsylvania Derby beach banners up and down the South Jersey. Mike Baldini's been very influential in that. We have that set up. So when people are on the beach, they'll see Pennsylvania Derby and they'll have the date of it. So when they're lying on the beach, in the ocean, whatever the case may be, they're going to see the Pennsylvania Derby and they're going to see a date. Now, whether they're on the beach or in the ocean, when they get to their cell phone, our hope is they can mark that day down and say, you know what, we're going to be there for Pennsylvania Derby Day. Again, it's not reinventing the wheel, it's just doing what a lot of other key sports and key markets do. And instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, let's do it with them. NBC Sports Philadelphia, we don't necessarily, yes, we have to go against Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers. That's a battle you're never going to win. But they're welcoming us into that family, under that umbrella. Let's join them. So if we can get a Flyers player, a Phillies player, an Eagles player, instead of going against them, bring them in and you get the conversion. So again, just having that NBC Sports Philadelphia umbrella and being in that family is huge. And moving forward, we couldn't be more excited about it. At this time, I'd like to thank Bruce and co-founder of the show, Commissioner Sal DeBunda. 32 years. The show's been airing for as long as I've been living. So it's a huge testament to what they've done and to where we're headed. So again, I want to thank those two gentlemen now. I want to thank Danny, I want to thank Chris, I want to thank Bruce and all of them. Again, it's just a great team effort. And last but not least, Smarty Jones. Obviously, 20 years this year since Smarty captured the Run for the Roses. We moved to Smarty Jones Day to a Saturday this year. It'll be Saturday, August 24th. We have not released our stakes program. David Osajnik is doing a great job crafting our stakes program for 2024. That'll be released soon. David had the foresight to add a few stakes to that day, so we're very excited about Smarty Jones Day when fans can come out. I know from Parks side of things, they're going to be doing some promotional giveaways and stuff of that nature. The PTHA is obviously going to do similar. Again, the collaboration is key. We're very lucky enough to have Mrs. Chapman and John Service readily available, even Stuart Elliott. So Frankie Pennington captured win number 3,000 a few weeks ago, and Stuart got us a video congratulating him, within a few hours. So we have the key components of Smarty and his run still with us, and we're going to utilize that on Smarty Jones Day this year, and every year moving forward. I think everyone can remember where they were when Smarty won the Run for the Roses, and ultimately they can probably remember where they were when he was defeated by Bergstead in the Belmont. But we'll stick to when he captured the Run for the Roses and keep it on the high note, going forward. Next slide, please. And last but not least, not to talk about him since he's sitting next to me, but we're just very lucky to have Chris Griffin. Chris really resonated with our horsemen when he was the announcer at Parks, when he went to Monmouth and now at Aqueduct. Our horsemen they really resonate with him and they respect him, and he's a great sound boy for them. So I don't really need to tell you everything that he does. I can just leave you with one thing. We have horsemen, trainers, who are up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, who go directly to Chris's office and say, Chris, stop by the barn. I'd love you to do this. I'd love you to do that. That is why the PTHA is here. It's to protect, to defend, to fight for the horsemen's rights, but it's also to promote them. So when we have horsemen go into Chris's office and say, Chris, ask me who I like on football, and we can have them back and forth. We have Lupe Preciado who wants to do a sit-down interview, 60 minutes with Chris. And I don't know if you know, it's not overly easy to get Lupe going, but he is more than excited to do this. So just to have Chris as the vehicle to get our horsemen's word out is worth gold. And again, I speak for the PTHA on behalf of Bob Hutt, our president, all of our board members. When we had the opportunity to bring Chris on board, everything we just showed you, it's possible because of the team, and the team, including Chris, is what's going to get us to the finish line. So again, I want to thank Chris. I want to thank all the commissioners, chairwoman. Thank you for your time, and we're very excited for 2024, moving forward and onward and upward. So thank you again.
Thank you, Jeff and Chris. Any questions or comments before we move on?
I have one question. In terms of your jockey cam,
Yes.
who owns the video that you got, the actual cam? Who owns that video?
The Jockey Cam company owns all the equipment associated with doing that. The footage itself is owned by the PTHA and Parks Racing. It was a joint venture. It cost, I believe it cost around $18,000 last year. We paid half. Joe Wilson and Parks paid half, and we were very excited about it. Obviously, the one thing we couldn't control was weather, but we did get pretty good footage. God willing, the 21st of September this year is going to be sunny and 75, and we'll get even better footage. We have every intent to bring them back. We had an initial call with them on Thursday of last week. So again, I think that's something we need to continue to move forward. We've had membership say that when they watched the live feed of the Pennsylvania Derby this past year, it felt like the Preakness. So yes, again, not to keep saying we're not at the finish line, but that's a pretty good comment. So it's something we can build on, and we're going to continue to build on.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
If I may, I would like to thank you, first of all, Jeff, for the shout out and compliment you on how far you and your staff have taken this program, and congratulations to you. Since I hired you, I feel that I'm part of the thoughts. You've done a great job, and Chris, it's great to have you on board. They needed somebody who was going to talk up onto the while, and I think that was the biggest attribute to that the job. So, but thank you. You've both done a great job, and please continue to do that.
Sal, thank you very much for the kind words. We'll leave the hats on that table, so afterward, if anyone needs any extra, this was just what we had readily available, but we can dig in the closet to get more. But again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, gentlemen. Tommy, ready to give us a brief update on the process of this?
Brief update on HISA. At the beginning of the month, we signed a 60-day extension on the IGA Lab Services Agreement. That was done where there's no interruption in racing. We continue as a staff to work with this and I will on some outstanding issues for 2024 financially and with certain operational questions. Racing continues and we'll continue to work with HISA and I will to enter into a longer-term agreement for 2024.
Thank you for your persistence and your patience. Let's turn to our administrative actions. Back to you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, a motion to approve the simulcast calendars for February 2024 for the harness tracks, Harris, Mohegan Sun, and the Meadows.
There a motion to approve?
So,
Commissioner Lark.
Okay, motion Commissioner Brenizer, second Commissioner Lark. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next motion, Madam Chair, is to approve the simulcast calendars for February 2024 for the Thoroughbred tracks, which would be Parks, Penn National, and Prescott Downs.
I will make such a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner DeMonte. Is there a second? Thank you,
Commissioner Lawrence.
Any questions or discussion on this? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next motion, Madam Chair, is to approve Presque Isle Downs' request to amend its 2024 live racing dates by eliminating May 13th, 14th, 15th, and August 8th, and in placing them with August 22nd, 29th, September 12th, and September 19th.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Smitty. Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner Hart.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Let's see, any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The next motion, Madam Chair, is to ratify the Standardbred Director's approval for the Meadows to cancel live racing until January 19th, 2024, and replace it and add a live racing day on January 20th, 2024.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Rogers, and I think I heard Commissioner Ellis again. He's just quicker than everybody today. Second. Any discussion, questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. To our licensing.
Madam Chair, in summary, American Teletime submitted its 2024 racing vendor license renewal application and the applicable statutory fee on November 17, 2023. In accordance with its intervention regulations, the Commission, at its November 29th meeting, properly provided notice to the general public of American Teletimer's submission and the right to seek intervention. On December 19th, the Commission granted a temporary conditional approval of American Teletimer's 2024 racing vendor license application, pending a final review in order of this Commission at its January 30th, 2024 meeting. The Commission did not receive any intervention petitions regarding the renewal application and has now completed its renewal form, and this matter is ready for Commission action. I propose the following order for this Commission, which can be submitted as an order or a motion from the Commission. This is a long one. And now this 30th day of January 2024, pursuant to Section 9351 of the Racehorse Industry Reform Act, the above racing vendor, American Teletimer, was granted a conditional approval on December 19, 2023, to continue to provide goods and services to a licensed racing entity directly related to racing or the racing product until the Commission completed its review of racing vendor renewal application and issued a final order. In accordance with its statutory authority set forth in Section 9353B and its regulatory authority set forth in Section PA Code 1, Section 187, the Commission has reviewed the submitted renewal application and the pertinent information from that racing vendor, including any subsequent changes from its previously approved license application. Based upon the Commission's review and consideration, it is ordered that the above referenced racing vendor license renewal application is granted for the year 2024. It is further ordered that the Commission's approval is issued upon and subject to the general conditions of compliance set forth in the Act and with the following specific conditions. Number one, the racing vendor shall provide the Commission with written notice of any modifications, changes, or amendments to the vendor agreement as submitted and approved by this Commission no later than 15 business days after such modification, change, or amendment. Number two, the racing vendor shall provide the Commission written notification of the election to terminate or not renew the vendor agreement no later than 15 business days after such election. And number three, the racing vendor's license may not be conveyed, assigned, or transferred to any other person or third party without prior approval of the Commission. And that can be done as a motion.
Thank you, George. Is there a motion to approve conditional licensure renewal subject to the conditions as outlined by council?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Is there a second? Thank you,
Second.
Commissioner Reddy. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Tony, that takes us up to Mr. Edwards.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Just remind everybody to please state your name and spell it, please, for the benefit of the court reporter. We'll start off with Scott Lisher from the Meadows. Scott?
Thank you, Tony. Scott Lisha, SCOTT, LI, S as in Sam, HIA. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. January has been a tough month, I think, for everybody. We were forced to cancel 2 days last week due to some conditions with our track. We had a soft spot about 30, 40 feet down the lane in the 1-2 hole. Kudos to our track crew. They did a ton of work and were able to get it dried out, and we had qualifiers over today and everything went very well. So kudos to them on that. Also, I want to thank everyone involved in racing at the Meadows and the commission as well. Thank you. We did cancel racing January 19th. We ended up with approximately 3 to 4 inches of snow. That day continued all day. We mobilized early in the morning and were able to get everyone to be willing to work, and we raced on Saturday. We got the day in. We actually had a very good day. And I know a lot of people changed plans, canceled trips, did a lot so we could race. Horsemen, commission members, my employees, everyone involved. So I want to just send a big thank you out to everyone. I think their commitment to racing is unparalleled. I have a few things that I presented, and I believe Mr. Salerno's going to have them put up on the screen. One is a survey that we did. I wanted to reach out to different entities and get some feedback. So we created a Google Forms survey. I actually talked to Ashley Eisenbell a little bit. She gave me some insight, and we had it up for 3.5 weeks. We released it in segments. Initially, it was just our website and the MSOA. Then Ashley sent it out through her organization. We had it tweeted, expressed it, and sent it out to customers in Pennsylvania. And lastly, we released it on the USDA site. So it gave us kind of a tracking, and we could see some shifts, but we tried to keep it very simple, 10, 12 questions, yes or no answers, and reference things that we were interested in finding out. And, you know, everything from, do you like larger fields, your payout, a trail playing horse, do you think it's a disadvantage? And it gave us some unique insight. Plus, we had about 150 plus people actually give us some comments, and some of them I think were very, very valuable. But they were willing to be totally anonymous if you wanted to. So it's a start. We're probably going to do more of these as we see, but we're trying to reach out to our fan base, our customers, and get some direct feedback from them in one form or another. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully we can get some information and use it to however we tailor our product. And then the other thing I have, which is a 2-page document, and it's just a little bit about our story from 2023. We actually have a good story to tell, which is very nice, obviously. And even at the very top of the first page, you'll see some handle numbers from the first part of January, the 23rd of this year up to the 25th. So 2 days less, it's just how the holiday fell. And 1 day of live racing less, 9 versus 10. But you know, as you can see, our on track was down somewhat. But overall, our handle kind of held its own. I think if we'd add another day in there, you could probably add another total, maybe 500,000 easily to that. We've been doing pretty well. So we're holding our own. Hopefully we can continue that, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. Obviously the following week we had a couple cancellations. So that being said, one of the big things I really wanted to point out on the first page was in the center, the average field size. If you look at 2023 over 2022, with the exception of January, which 2/100ths of a point, we're really holding very strong 8+ horses per race on average. August 7.98, but
Scott, I think you're muted. Can you unmute yourself? Scott, can you hear us? Scott, while you're working on getting unmuted, we're going to go on to Mike Zellinger from POCO, if you don't mind. Mike, be there?
Never fails.
I'm here, Tony. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Thank you. So we're looking forward to getting started our 59th racing season here at Pocono on February 17th. All the snow has been melted by the rain that we've had, so hopefully that stays away. Yeah, just getting things ready to go. I think everyone's excited. That's all.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Barry Brown wasn't able to join us today, but I believe Mike Grant had an update for us for Harris.
Oh, yeah, Mike, the vacation.
Yeah.
It's Mike Arant, it's H-A-R-A-N-T. Barry Brown has no update, but while I'm up here, I'll give the PTHA update. February 7th, 8th, and 9th next week, we're going to be open for training at Pocono, weather, knock on wood, if we can. February 12th, I believe it is a Monday, is our first qualifier. And February 17th, it's right around the corner. Didn't seem like it on New Year's Eve when we last raced, but we'll be back racing in Eastern Pennsylvania, and Chester kicks in April, and we'll go all the way to the end of the year. So that's our report on the Eastern Pennsylvania harness. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. We go to Joe Wilson from Parks. Joe?
Yeah, this is actually David, D-A-V-I-D, Osajanak, O-S-O-J-N-E-K, Parks Director of Racing. Just wanted to first say that Jeff, Maddie, and Chris Griffin, thank you for your presentation today. Parks is very pleased and happy to be working with you on the changes that you're bringing forward. The Let's Go Racing program. The program was always great, but it looks like you're breathing some new life into it, which is well thought out and well done. In January, unfortunately, we had to cancel 5 days of live racing due to weather, very cold temperatures, snow and rain. Most of the PTHA horsemen understood that we couldn't race, and some didn't like it, but we did the best we could. The track team, led by Gerard Viper, did an excellent job getting the track together. We moved training on a few days. We made it a little bit later in the mornings, and that helped our trainers out. Just one point about December, the last day of the year of December 27th, Parks had its highest non-PA Derby Trillium Day handle. We did a little over $6.5 million for the one day, and it's nice to set, records like that. So, and we hope to do the same in 2024. And I think that's all I have to say. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you, David. Before we go to Eric, I think Scott's back with us. Scott, can you hear us?
Yeah, Tony, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay. And I'll just be brief. No, that's all right. I don't know what happened. On the second page of that handout, if you look, we have two things. One is our per race, our average handle per race as it relates to days of the week that we race. So you can see they're all very solid, our 2023 numbers over 2022. And then below is that average handle per race when we have betting interest. And if you look and see, it's consistent kind of with knowledge we know. As you get more horses, it tends to go up. So, they're all very positive things. And I'll leave you with last year overall for us, the Meadows, all 3 phases, people here betting on import signals was up about 4%. Our live on track was up 6%, and our export handle going out was actually up almost 27%. So it was a very good year, and hopefully those trends will continue. We're going to try to tweak things and do things, but I just wanted to share that because, like I said, it was some very good news. So thank you all very, very much.
Do you have something?
If I may, if you again run a survey of your bettors, I would suggest that you ask a question about post-time drag. Thank you.
Certainly.
Scott, I just wanted to compliment your track crew as well, because I noticed this morning there's several tracks that still have canceled their cars the rest of this week because of the tough conditions, but compliments to your crew. Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll go to Eric Johnson from Penn National. Eric?
Thanks, Tony. Up until that comment a few seconds ago, I really didn't have a whole lot to say. I mean, it's been kind of the trials and tribulations as we start off the year here between snow and all kinds of fun stuff causing some cancellations, lots of scratches and everything, but the numbers are holding up well as far as compared to last year with the 7 race card itself. We are running 8 races in the next couple of weeks to make up for the 1 full day that we did lose, so hoping for big things here going into February. Interestingly enough, the post-time drag is a problem across the industry, and if anybody would like to discuss it and what my feelings are on it at some point, off the record and off the recording here, I would love to give you 10 minutes on post-time drag.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Matt Ennis from Presque Isle. Matt?
This is Matthew Ennis, M-A-T-T-H-E-W, last name is E-N-N-I-S. Thank you, Commission, for allowing me to shift 4 days of racing to later in our season for 2024. That allows me to attempt to improve field sizes, so thank you for that. Other than that, next week I will be posting our open positions here at Prescott for the upcoming 2024 80 live race day season, with an anticipated opening of our backside on April 22nd of 2024, and our first day of live racing to be May 20th. So looking forward to getting back into it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Kim Hankins from the MSOA. Kim?
Hi, Tony. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you, Kim.
Good, because I was muted there. I didn't know if it would work. But Kim Hankins, K-I-N. Last name Hankins, H-A-N-K-I-N-S. Stephanie should hit most of the salient points about our last year statistics and stuff, but we do have a series coming up in February and March for our younger horses, so we'll try to keep them get ready for the stake series, stake season, and stuff like that. But more importantly, I have here with me today our new president, Lisa Dunn. She replaces Rich Gillock after 16 years of service. Rich retired and is having a good time in Florida as we speak, but I just wanted to introduce Lisa while I have her here. And that's my report.
Okay. Congratulations. I think congratulations, Lisa. I don't know if I should give you condolences or congratulations on your appointment to president, but congratulations. And we know your pride in harness racing and how good a job you'll do as the president of the NSOA. One other thing I'd like to bring up, Commissioner Brennheiser, myself, and Deputy Secretary Strathmeyer attended the fair banquet that the PTHA and the NSOA put on, and it was a really outstanding event last Saturday. I'd like to thank you guys for all the hard work in the event. So, Jeff, Matty, do you have anything to add, Jeff?
Jeff, last name Matty, M-A-T-T-Y. February 17th, we have our PTHA Horse Racing Annual Horsemen's Awards. It's our 28th year doing so. Our MCs for the evening will be Chris Griffin, Danny Gibson, and Rich Perloff. For those of you that don't know, Rich was a longtime analyst on TVG, and he's now going to come in as a guest appearance, guest speaker for our awards. So I believe I sent Tom an invitation. If any of you can make it, again, it's February 17th. It starts at 5:30, and we appreciate it. Thanks again.
Thanks, Jeff. See Todd hiding in the back. Todd, do you have anything?
No report.
No report. We'll go to Jim or Mike Simpson from the Standardbred Breeders.
Mike Simpson, M-I-K-E-S-I-M-P-S-O-N. No report today.
Thanks, Mike. And Brian, you're
I
up.
was gonna say units, but. I agree.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners, and staff. If you look at the first page of the handout, the transfers to the Green Fund for 2023, you can see that the total is $16,549,000, and the 25% deposit, which I think we are receiving next week or the week after, of $1,500,000 brings the total amount to $18,088. And the difference between the regular slack transfers from last year to this year is $1,200,000 above last year, and again, that's because the fiscal code was not passed until December. And we'll do the makeups the first 6 months of this year. February issue of our newsletter, we have 5 new sires coming into Pennsylvania, and they are listed there, and a little bit about each one of them. And lastly, the staying season auction is currently going on. It ends tonight at 9 p.m. So if you want to get a staying season, and some people will say, well, we don't have a mare, and that's, well, we'll take care of the mares. We have plenty of mares to go around. Just by the season. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, there's one public comment request from Dr. Langlois.
You're up, Doc.
Thank you. Name is Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, Langlois, L-A-N-G-L-O-I-S. Thank you again to the Commission for allowing me to make public comment. I'm going to repeat a couple of the requests and comments that I made at the January meeting of 2023, and that is to have the Commission work, or somebody on the Commission propose a rule change or a regulation change that mandates a chase vehicle follow horses with a veterinarian in it for all thoroughbred races. This will allow a veterinarian, in the unfortunate event of a horse becoming in distress or something like that, a veterinarian can get to them a lot quicker than if they are not in a vehicle that can follow the horses around. The second request would be as well, if to form a regulation for, on the thoroughbred side at least, that any horse from the time it enters the paddock through the time that it gets to the starting gate and or enters the gate, if at any time that horse flips in a way that has it land on its side, back, or head, it is automatically scratched by the stewards. That does not happen right now in PA, and that is the rule in some other jurisdictions. And it's most importantly for the horse's safety, as often you can't tell right away if something has happened to that horse. But if you wanted to look at it solely from a fan or a handicapping perspective, it's unfair to them to then have that horse running when it's probably not going to run as fast, and no spending on it. The third request would be to look at or have people come in to discuss with the Commission the change of steward rules following Category 2 and changing them to Category 1. There are a lot of things with the fans and the handicappers that upset them greatly with Category 2 rules. And while disqualifications may happen and then appeals potentially can be made and things can be changed, once that result is official, there's absolutely no recourse for the veteran. The veteran is kind of screwed in that situation. So even if the result is changed after the fact, the veteran has no recourse. The fifth thing or the fourth thing I should say that I would ask, and this is probably one of the biggest ones, I implore this Commission, get stride safe sensors on these horses. I understand there may be financial issues with it. I do not know if this is still the case, but I know Jim McAvell down in Texas, when they were talking with Tri-State, has been willing to fund getting it on these horses. You have a very unique situation in Pennsylvania where you have horses that run on multiple surfaces. So one, it has been shown to identify horses that are at a major risk of a catastrophic breakdown before it occurs.
And the second part of that is it will allow for much more data to be collected, especially the horses running on synthetic surfaces, especially on the press style, for them to be able to refine the system. So please try to get that through a regulation or a rule or for some means on these horses. The final thing, since it was brought up, I don't ever come speaking on the record about it when it comes to post-time drag. There's probably one of the, while there are many things that upset feminine handicappers, post-time drag is probably one of the biggest because it leaves two races running on top of each other. And there really is, aside from certain probably racing jurisdictions wanting to capitalize on bringing in more handle at the last second, there's no point to it. I mean, it really screws people who are trying to watch, especially when you have two stage races that end up running on top of each other. There are opportunities or situations we understand where something happens, a horse is injured, there's a gate delay or something like that, but when you have it 0 minutes to post and it's 10 minutes until the race actually goes, you know, I mean, that's something that just the industry has to kind of work to try to solve on its own, although we don't have much hope for that happening anytime soon. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. That's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you all. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, the 27th of February at 1 o'clock back here in conference room 309. Is there any other good of the order comments from the commissioners?
Belated happy New Year to the rest of the commission and to the people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Felda. Here we go. It sounds like we'll be back racing before we know it. Here's to a good year. Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Reddy.